speed to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, the summer sky, it was the best we ever had.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, or I should actually say good morning, Susan, because I know it is morning at your place. Here it's 2 p.m. Central European time. I finished work not too long ago. I ended up getting up earlier. Actually, I woke up like half an hour before my alarm, and now I hope actually that my audio is good. It is. I woke up before my alarm clock, and I had to use the toilet. And because it was half an hour before, I was like, okay, yeah, I could go back to bed and sleep, but I'll probably be more wrecked. So I decided to get up and start the day half an hour earlier than originally intended. So I feel fit and fresh. I got some work done for my job. Still have a bunch of things to do. There is lots of information also for me to process. So it is a heavy days in the sense of my goal today is to finish the ultimate sacrifice shawl. If I'll manage here, I don't know. And I realize I actually just forgot one thing, which is just over there, which is my kitchen scale, because I am on the yarn chicken game. That means that I think I have 3 rows left. The yarns I have left. The pink, baby pink to white, we are transitioning in, and my 3.25mm hook, and of course my shawl. And I did work on it since last live, and I believe that, as I said, I have about 3 rows left based on the yarn weight versus consumption of each row. Here we are. I am now at 9 stitches on the big increases here on the top, and I just did that last round. So the last round I just increased, and each of the increases goes for a total of 4 rows before you increase it again. And given the fact that this last row took 11 grams and I have 41 left, it should fit with 3 rows plus a bit, approximately. So that is my idea for today. I have found out that I'm able to adjust the brightness with my remote on my webcam. but if that's enough to actually give the color differences and make them more clear for you here, I don't know. Else we are still back at the filters, and I haven't really had an earthly chance to play enough with them to actually test that out. So we'll have to try. Also, of course, my favorite mug of tea is with me here today. It is the blend of Nijmeegstrots, which is a local tea blend here to the city of Nijmegen, not too far from where I live. It's black tea with it's a fresh black tea, cornflower leaves. It also has some raisins and some dried pineapple. It's quite nice. So what we will do is we will see if I can get my dual camera view up running here like this. And we will see if I can get that a little bit down to my workstation here of my mess. As said, there is 41 grams left. So what I will do is I'm gonna leave the weight scale in the kitchen, and we'll do the first row, and then we'll pick it up to weigh what's left to still have an idea of if we are still playing it safe. So that is generally my idea. And then, as I said, my goal is to have this shawl finished, preferably this week, because I am traveling on Saturday. I'm leaving my partner behind, but I am personally myself traveling to Denmark. And hopefully I have it all done before then, so we can talk about it and the yarn talk video on Friday, because I won't reach to, yeah, I can't guarantee that I'm finishing up more projects before the Decrease My Stash video ends. 2, 4, 6, 7. I need to get in here. So that's kind of where we are at. So what I need to try out is we can try out I have the feeling it's actually better. This is a default setting, but it's still quite bright when I'm just looking at this, right? It's still quite bright. Let's just let that stay here. I have the feeling this bit is a bit better, but this is still quite bright. That's the default setting. So I'm afraid that when I press this, it first goes bright and then it goes back dark. So just hang on for a minute. Yeah, we will start by going brighter, and I'll start by the very dark and see if that actually makes a difference. So just hang on for a second. I know it's getting horrible. This could actually work. But the thing is, if I use this setting, when I'm having it in my face, I'm really dark. But actually, this seems to work with this table, and that seems workable. Don't you agree? This looks okay. So, wonderful. It's on my yarn spindle, and we can get cracking. 3 rows, 3 hours. It should be doable, actually. So, like, technically speaking, this should be doable. This should be doable. So it is a little bit on the dark end, but it is better. Yeah, it's better. It's not as bad as it was. Like before, it was like really crazy, and it could probably be even better. But the only thing is, if I touch it now, it will only be lighter and brighter and brighter. So I would probably then have to look into a filter for that. But I think this is actually pretty okay. At least for now. And of course, that also depends on what light I have outside. Today it is gray here in the Netherlands, or at least where I am in the Netherlands, it's pretty gray. I wish it would be a bit sunny, that would be nice, but it is not sunny. yeah, I am definitely looking forward to traveling home on Saturday. I'll be home for a whole week. And while I'm home, I really don't know the extent and time I have for crafting. I will bring crafts with me, but I really don't know how much I can like practically get done. Um, so I'll just be mainly spending time with my family. I will have to work while I'm at home because I just started a week and a half ago. Um, so I don't even have any vacation days really saved up yet. And I need some for the coming summer. Um, Still working on that. Um, because I need my colleagues to cover for me, so I need to check with them if and when what's possible, obviously. Um, yeah, but yeah, so spending time with my family, helping out where I can help out. I have to work probably like 4 to 5 hours, depending. I'm trying to make it as little as possible, so I'm trying to kind of get a little bit ahead this week if I'm able. Um, like on Saturday, I'm likely to wait an hour or more in the airport before flying. I'll imagine that I'll grab the computer and jump on work to get some done, because if I do that, then I need to do less next week, right? And if I'm in the airport sitting and waiting, in any case, who cares what I do? And I know my boss is absolutely fine with me doing it like that. So that is probably something that I will be doing. Well, that was one too many. Yeah. So we need to get that direction. And the challenge I have, of course, so we were just gonna see if we can move this a bit closer, is that eventually, I know I tend to lean back with my project. Ideally, like the world's ideal place would be if you had the view I have, that would be awesome. Um, but I'm still not sure how I can make a setup like that without basically having something straight in my face. Um, or straight in your face, that would be. I could probably then would have to have something even higher. I'm not sure how that would work out. Um, at least not with the setup I have here. But that would definitely be a dream setup. That would be sweet. Yeah, so working on a few things, but mainly I want to finish this because then I can have the whole shawl finished, and I will have to give it a little think about my next shawl project. But I will definitely be starting one then when I'm coming back from Denmark. That is almost a guarantee. Also, I'll be bringing the sweet Martine with me to Denmark. And I'll bring a skein of yarn for which I've planned for some hats to knit, and a little bit of cotton in case that I get totally bored and want to start on a bag. That is like the option. Yeah. Good morning, Jay. Welcome to this live. I hope you had a great sleep, and yeah, grab a cup of coffee or tea and your project and sit down and hang out. The rest of us is doing our best. Meanwhile, as I said, I'm chugging along here on the Ultimate Sacrifice shawl, and it would be so amazing if we can finish today. So, if we do not finish this during this live, and we're talking about me needing to do 3 rows. The 4th row is speculative. I don't think I have enough yarn to do a 4th row, and therefore my feeling is that the goal here is to finish these 3 rows, and then I'm probably going to be happy. I won't reach to block it for the yarn talk. If I don't reach to finish all 3 rows during this live, I will probably finish it off tonight. My partner told me he had to work tonight, so it could also be that I option to work tonight. I have not completely decided, because if he's working, why shouldn't I be able to work a bit? And I do definitely have a few things I need to get done. And I'd almost rather work today and a bit less tomorrow and Fridays. I have more time to do my packing for going home. Because I do have a few things I need to pack down to bring with me. Good morning, Sarah. I hope you had a wonderful sleep. I would say grab your project, come and hang out. It is the crafty corner time, while we hang out and get our projects finished. At least that's a goal for today, right? And the idea of having finished another cake is amazing. So I am, in that sense, quite motivated. I also want to, I have like a little bin where I have my scrap yarns. I kind of want to get them sorted a bit. That's also like a future goal of mine. Generally sorting out things. But of course, with me being gone next week means that next week there won't be a yarn talk video. But don't worry, I'll post something. I will post something. We are working on that. So I'm not sure how much of all of you caught, but obviously my mom were unfortunately down last week with blood infection. She has gotten on top of this. Her infection numbers are normal, so that I'm really happy about. She had her 2nd treatment of chemo Saturday. Monday, on the sweet holiday we had in Denmark, she actually went to fit, yeah, what do you call it? A wig fitting, fake hair wig. Yeah, they're wigs. And she actually found one that looks very close to her own, especially when she just had her haircut. I think it looked really great. When I showed the photo to Arno, he would not have guessed it was a wig. So that is, I think, a really good sign. Today she's been away for a heart scan. Doctors want to make sure everything is all right, which is nice. And given the current conditions, I think she's doing better. Less liquids in her lungs. That's actually the best part, because it means that she has a little bit more air when she needs to walk around the home. And then originally we had planned for me to go home, so I would be there for every 2nd treatment. But the issue is that due to this infection, her whole treatment plan has been scheduled a week forward, which means that my next 2 flights home are not matching up with the treatment days. But as I said to my mom, it's just how it is, and you know what? We'll do the best when I'm there, and whichever they need help with, I'll do. And spending time is probably the most important right now. So that is what will be happening mainly. next to me working. That's the boring part, but it is a necessity, huh? To pay our bills. I would say so far, I do like my new job. What I really like is this flexibility I have. As I said, for those that were here straight when the stream started, this morning I woke up half an hour early, and I decided just to go to shower instead of heading back to bed. I had to use the toilet. Because I was like, the thing is, when you have been awake and you've been up and you go back to bed and you sleep half an hour, you usually get more knackered afterwards. So I decided just to stay up, and instead of going back to bed, I'll just headed to shower and I started working, which is kind of awesome, right? Because I couldn't do that with my old job. My old job, I would be like, yep, I'm awake. What to use my time with? What to do with my time now? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, perfect. And now, if I'm early awake, I can do my work. So that is quite nice. That is definitely something I personally appreciate as a possibility. I have the feeling it takes forever, but it's not that many. It's like 3 more tips. But it's because that obviously for each row of increase, like every 4 rows, they take 2 more stitches for each tip to complete. So that is why. I had some other plans I wanted to do before May, but the reality is that time ran out. And also, when I originally made those plans, I didn't have a job. So I had way more time to potentially fruit those plans. I had this idea that I wanted to see if I could maybe make my own crochet hooks from scratch up. But I can see by now it's just not going to happen. And mainly due to the fact that I'm out of time. Like, the amount of time I have left with the things I still need to do before going to Denmark, it's just not happening. Kind of goes into the button category, like I was working on making my own buttons as well. I just haven't had time to sit down afterwards and actually physically spend time improving my skills, making more. So, are you ladies working on anything interesting today? Or just hanging out, listening to me rambling on, seeing if I'll actually manage to finish this shawl? It could be that I only reached 2 of the 3 rounds, and then, as I said, I'll probably just finish it off camera tonight because I really want to have it done this week. So that's kind of what I'm predicting will happen, but I will try to see if we can actually manage to finish this one off while here. That would be kind of cool. I'm assessing each row is somewhere between an hour and 15 minutes. Maybe it's a bit shorter, depends on how many distractions I have, I guess. It is the Yarnart Rose Garden cake that I'm using. Yarnart Rose Garden it's like a 2-weight, almost a 1-weight, but it's quite thin 2-weight yarn, 100% cotton, 250 grams, so 8.8 ounces to 1,000 meters, which is 1,093 yards for those curious. And it is a soft cotton. It is spun slightly, but yeah, more importantly, it's a nice soft cotton. The strands changes, like when they change color, they usually use four strands to complete the color change. So 4 times they change, so they have 1 strand and 3, like 1 is new color and 3 is old, etc. And here we currently have about half. So the yarn I'm currently, or the strand I'm currently working with here, is about 50% white, 50% light pink, which is slightly difficult for you to see. I'll see if I can put it a little bit closer, but it is still, so in the center here it is fully white, but it might be just a little bit difficult for you to see. But the color difference also, even I have to, with my eyes, physically really have to look close at it to see it. It's not just like quickly, obviously. I remember in the beginning I just thought they were like pink centers. Then I looked at it, I realized it was actually white and not very baby pink. It's not the first, it's not the last of these many shawls that I've made. And this shawl is probably going to go for sale, I think. I think it's gorgeous cake. So I'll definitely have other shawl projects that could be perfect for them. But it is the last one I had in my stash, so I would need to shop some cakes if I want to make a new project with the similar colors. But you know what? Who doesn't love a good reason to go yarn shopping? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I need one more stitch here. So we are done with the big flared part, and we are heading down to the easy, and this is really the easy bits. And I say that because this is every time we have these chain spaces, I work in 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets, and I skip to the next chain space. So I don't need to catch stitches as such, so this is so much easier to work quicker because the space you work in is bigger, so to say. So it's just, you're a little bit less accuracy needed, which is definitely a benefit in this case. Yeah, so that's basically the process right now, step for step. We'll work on this. But yeah, you ladies are silent, so either you all fell back asleep or you are hard busy working on whichever project you're working on. And also do not forget to take a sip. If you have something to drink, you need to stay hydrated. So I'm just gonna take a sip and conclude. My tea is still really hot. Yes, it is still pretty hot. Also, if you haven't done it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this live. That really does support me as well. Susan is crocheting and listening to my ramble. I have to say, I think a while ago I told you guys the story of April and how April came to have its weather. At least that's the story we have where I grew up. And the story of April is, April has quite unpredictable weather. And the story of April let's see, I have the feeling I should actually probably pop it up a little bit like that. The story of April is that back upon a time when all the months they had to get the weather, they all came assembled, I guess by God, if that is one believes in. And God said that they had the summer with all the sun and heat, and they had the autumns with the rains and hails, and then they had the winter with the cold and snow, the spring with the thaw and, sun coming forth, and so on, right? And the summer was nice and warm and sunny. And April was a month that thought it was much more fun to go and play around and have fun. So April didn't really listen to these options, and all the weather was given out. All of the months claimed a weather. July said, "I want the sun," and January said, "I want the winter blow and cold and freeze," etc. Right? And then suddenly April realized that April hadn't gotten any weather at all. Actually, all the weather was given out to all the other months. So April started crying because April was sad that April hadn't gotten any weather. And then all the other months, all of the months from January until in December, all decided to give April a little bit of their own weather. Thus, April had its very own weather, which could be chilly, rainy, sunny, warm, blowy, and whatnot. And that is why April, as of today, is a month with so many different types of weathers. And honestly, when we look at this story and looking at the Dutch weather this spring, it is so very fitting. It is extremely fitting, this weather, because April this year has been very sunny in the beginning, and then it was raining and windy, and I think we've had everything but the freeze this year in April. And it's quite a cute story, yeah. Welcome back, Helle. I am glad to hear you're back home. I would say sit down. Don't forget to grab something to drink. Good morning, Mama Gwen. Wonderful to see you. And yes, please, and thank you. Please give the thumbs up to this live. They are definitely useful. And thank you, Susan. It's a super cute story, and I think it fits most Northern Hemisphere countries for the spring, right? Like the spring is really a period where it's amazing or it's mixed weather. And, the mixed weather is usually when you have the feeling that winter is not completely done being winter yet. Jay says, I like the story and I agree with it. The first week of April, we had snow here in New Hampshire. Yeah, there you see. So we didn't have snow or freeze, but everything else we had here in the Netherlands. Um, like we even had a day in April where it was like 20 plus degrees, which is like almost 70, like and 60s Fahrenheit. And like I was like, oh my god, I don't need a jacket. I'm outside here in a t-shirt. Woohoo! Of course, in the evening it cooled down really, really quickly, right? But you know, we had some really great weather in the beginning of April here. That is for sure. Now I hope that the weather will be great when I'm going to Denmark next week. It is bound to be a little bit colder than here, but that is also purely they are a bit further north. Usually there is a degree or two difference. But sometimes the Danish weather is better than the Dutch. But mostly it is warmer in the Netherlands, is my experience. And as I said, I am looking forward to going up and seeing my family, and we will have to see how I can be helpful there combined with work. But yeah, so we are cranking along here. It is gonna be a really close call for the I think I'm gonna probably be half a round short of finishing this shawl, but then that is something I can do tonight. But we will try to see if we can finish it or get extremely close to. That would be awesome. And another thing I'm looking forward for tomorrow is that tomorrow I am going to my physio to get my monthly checkup, so to say. He just manipulates all my bones, and my neck is stuck, which means that it's cracking all the time. And yeah, it's like in a locked position. So I need to get that fixed. Let's see. I need to increase in this row. Okay. That would be increase at the tip for those confused. And apparently some truck is driving past here outside my window. But I do tip with a stitch marker, and that's only for me to remember where the tip is. And it's not because I don't remember, but it's quicker for me to notice now it's tip time. So it's just more like a convenience stitch marker, not a necessity, if that makes sense. It allows for less thinking or more mindless crocheting, however you want to look at it. So we increase by simply adding 2 extra spaces. So what we do is we 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. That will be the increase in that. And the rest goes back to chain space, increase, sorry, no increase, but 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, next chain space, etc. So it's super simple. Sarah is informing us that working out a baby blanket for my son's baby girl. She was here yesterday, so I rubbed it on her chubby little cheeks. She seemed to love it. Oh, that's sweet. What yarns are you using for it? And Susan sends all her best wishes to Helle. And I am quite sure Helle would be appreciative of all the best wishes. Right now, they are definitely doing well, the prayers. I see a color change coming up, except it's not visible for the clear eye. But you see, there is a yarn here. So we are going from half, so half pink, half white, to a quarter pink and 3/4 white. And then we will continue, basically. As I said, I do hope that we can pull off another 2 rows here, plus the one I'm working on, so 2.5. It should, weight-wise on the yarn, theoretically be possible. So that is the goal. It's the same country that makes a jewel spun, Serdar or something like that. I didn't have the band anymore, but it's a baby soft pastel pink, purple, yellow, blue, and white. Oh, that sounds like lovely colors. And yeah, Serdar makes the jewel spun. It's, I believe, an English brand. I haven't had any Serdar yarns myself. That said, I have been drooling over them, but you know, the biggest issue with English brands of yarn right now is Brexit. So customs, basically. Getting things from the UK now to Europe cost money due to Brexit. Extra taxes, import taxes. Not exactly something everybody likes. I don't blame people for that. It's like the US tariffs. Everything needs to cost money. The person who pays is the end consumer. So if Trump is continuing with this concept of tariffs, we will go from globalization to a circular economy in a nationalization, rather, so to say. And from a price perspective, I think globalization is much better for the consumer. You can also compare that a little bit to the industrialization, when it became easier and easier due to things such as steam to mass produce certain things. So many years ago, cotton was more expensive than it is today due to it taking more time to make. And then when the steam machines came, it was much quicker to process the material of cotton, and thus cotton became cheaper and more accessible for the average human being. You can also look at it like if you needed to buy clothes 200 years ago, you had clothes that was made to last, and you didn't have that many sets. But now you can basically buy a t-shirt for $5, right? The question if it's really wants to last, but it is possible, and that is industrialization and globalization for you right there. A friend of me is going to Denmark on vacation in September, and we were talking about economy as well. And I said to her that no need to worry about the value of the Danish crowns versus the euro, because the fee there is pretty set. That means basically that the Danish crowns is running a set exchange rate versus the European bank that controls the euros. So it's only allowed to differentiate within a certain percentage. And the issue that is that Denmark is in fact, unquote, a reasonably wealthy country. Understand it by this, that the debts Denmark have to other countries are very low. So they are, in that sense, rich or wealthy. Not saying that the people in Denmark are all wealthy, but Denmark as a country itself does not have as high debts as, for example, America. That makes it, because Denmark has a really stable economy, that a lot of foreign countries want to invest in Denmark. They want to invest in the bonds, the state bonds, and so on. And that makes the Danish crown more valuable towards, for example, the euros. But because Denmark has this agreement with the European Bank, they have to decrease interest rates to be able to make the Danish bonds less interesting to invest in, because, yeah, of being or having a low interest rate. That was the economy lesson of today. The fun thing also is that if I have to, and one of the reasons for that is also straight simple, but if I buy yarns from Hobby, Hobby is a Danish store. Everybody knows Hobby in here, I'm quite sure. Who doesn't? But if I buy yarns from Hobby in the Denmark, I will pay more for the yarn than I do if I buy it from Hobby in the Netherlands. And the reason for that is simple. Valued at tax. Our valued at taxes here in the Netherlands is 21%. The valued at taxes in Denmark is 25%. So just based on valued at taxes alone, the Danish yarns has to be more expensive because of the valued at tax. It's like €4 or $4 per 100 more expensive, roughly. So thank you for being in the Netherlands. Yarn is cheaper here. Hallelujah. Need to look at something positive. It's not as cheap as in Turkey, though. The downside for me, for example, for buying from ICE is that the European Union imposes import tax on them. And then suddenly, ICE isn't that cheap anymore. ICE is like shipping fee plus import tax of 21%. Down. There you go. Yeah, no. I don't think we will finish up this live, given how far we are along, but we're trying. So we are starting with the fan extension again here. So what we do is basically we are first skipping 4 stitches, and then we work in a double crochet in each stitch. At the very top space, we work in 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Other side, we work 7 double crochets. So in each of the following 7 stitches, we work in a double crochet in each. Skip 4. Repeat. So each side of these points have 9 double crochets in total. And I think the pattern stops at 5 or 6. So this is just me who increased the pattern based on the easy understandingness of the pattern. It is and it remains an absolutely gorgeous pattern, this Ultimate Sacrifice shawl. And we are getting closer to a finish. But it will be, I'm assessing another 2 to 3 working hours for it to be finished. I also kinda failed my April's goal for not buying yarn because I visited a yarn store. You might have seen Monday's video. I did get a little bit of yarn. Not much though. So I think for what is that I did reasonably well. But I did get a little bit of yarn. Couldn't completely leave it. And I knew that if the right yarns were there, I would probably snatch a skein or two. And there are also other value stores that I feel I should give a visit within not too long. But I really shouldn't buy if I could prevent it. Some of the yarns that I got, so all the yarns I got when I was visiting those stores, I'm intending to knit hats from them. I am finding the Kindle with the knitting needles. Sarah says, I keep buying two. I need to stop setting yarn purchasing related goals. Yeah, so my goal is just to decrease my stash. And once I'm finished with this skein, I still think overall that it's been a positive month for me. But it has not made up for the yarns yet that I bought in March. But yeah, except for that, I should be okay, I guess. I am really trying to use more than I buy, because then it will theoretically automatically decrease. And I'm definitely working on that. I am also working on the store. As you know, I am working on setting up a web store for my makes so I can resell some of my makes. And that should help decrease, I wouldn't say my stash of yarn, but it would help decrease my stash of makes, at least if people are willing to buy. You never know before you try. And I shall certainly make some videos on that too. I really should. That would be probably interesting for some of you guys. The goal of the store is to hopefully generate a profit, but if it just generates, like if it's what's it called, breaking even, that was the word I was looking for, it's for me a success, and then over time it may be better. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. But breaking even is personally I think a really nice starting goal for it. But it has taken me some time to get everything in bit a bit under control. I figured out a few things. I still have many things to figure out. I have the idea that my neighbors is getting sun panels installed today because lots of things happening, and the minibus that is in front of their driveway says something about evergreen sun blah 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 on it. So I think they're setting sun panels on their roof today. Can't blame them. Sun is a nice way to get energy. We also have sun panels on our roof, which means that when the sun shines, it is free to do my laundry or anything else that requires power. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So yeah, I said in the beginning that decreasing my stash was the goal to decrease my stash, and it would be awesome if I would consider it a success, even if it's just one skein less or X yards less than I started with. And since I don't have an exact amount of how many skeins, yards, etc., grams of yarns I have, I just have too much, that I do know. I decided that all used skeins counts towards this. So this is why finishing up this cake obviously will be amazing, because that is a nice dent in the whole scheme of things. 2, 4. So that is definitely a nice removal. The challenge is, of course, when you do have thinner yarns, they take up less space and they take more time to crochet. So if I just had all bulky yarns, decreasing my stash would be so much quicker. I do, though, have some projects where the plan is to hold yarns together, especially for like some of the knitting projects, like I did with my scrap beanie that I knitted about 3 weeks ago, I think it might have been. I held 2 yarns together to make that one. I actually have another scrap laying around. That would be really nice, held together with another strand. That would be 2 completely different yarns, because the one would be a recycled acrylic. It's a white recycled acrylic. And the yarn I want to hold it with is 100% alpaca yarn from drops that I have left from when I made the Thoughts of Ireland shawl, which is a shawl I will definitely never be remaking in my life. That is, yeah, no, that is just not happening. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Da, 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 da. Susan is saying, I'm excited because my Hirschness Mystery Millens will arrive today. Ooh, sweet. So that could be everything, right? I think I saw Bagger they had some millens with like reels of alpaca / flowers alpaca. So some alpaca millens. Do let me know what it ends up being. I am curious. I have this blue poncho, the blue inline packer poncho. That could be a great option if you get two of the same. Let me know. I am curious. I wish we had access to like Millens here too. Because like if I would order from Hirschner's to get Hirschner's Millens, they would like cost me triple or quadruple before they even arrive in my mailbox. So, and then the mystery isn't that much worth it anymore, so to say, because it would be cheaper for me just to buy it straight from the source. A full normal skein, not being a million. Yeah, okay. Susan says she loves mystery yarns because she donate all of my all of your makes, so the colors doesn't matter at all. I haven't seen yet, but it's worth looking into. It's definitely worth looking into. 2, 4, 6, 8. 9. I've also found a place in Amsterdam who sells, well, multiple places in Amsterdam. So I will need to look at, if I have to go to the office at some stage, I will maybe option to go by those to say hello and see if they could have something awesome to look at before going back home. Because you know what? My boss is paying for the trip to Amsterdam if I have to go to the office. Which means that it could be a free shopping trip almost. So I'll definitely be looking into that if I have to go to the office. And I know they want me to come to the office at some stage, so I may option for that when the time is right. I'll have to see. They like Tuesdays. Tuesdays is not necessarily my best day. All depends. It's not too bad here in winter, autumn, spring, because then the club is still open in the evening. But during the summer vacation, we have like 6 to 7 weeks where it's inconvenient. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So that would be pretty cool, actually, taking you guys with me to some Amsterdam stores. If I can make everything work around that. The millers come from Turkish factories, so maybe by direct. That is an option. The thing is just, I will still have to pay import tax to Europe. So if you go that route, I would need to probably become a yarn reseller. Not a bad idea as such. Of yarns enough. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Good morning, Oddballs. I hope you had a nice night and that you grabbed something to drink and have come to sit down with us. I am soon at the stage where I need to go fetch my weight scale. And I did, as you can see, attempt to change the coloring of my camera. So we just darkened it out, so that seemed to have helped a bit. Oh no! Oddball says she didn't have a great evening yesterday because her basement flooded. I'm so sorry. So now you're like having to dehydrate it and all that stuff and pump it out. That is so not very nice at all. Do, 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 do. We are very close to the end of this row. And at the end of this row, I think, as I said to you, I promised you that I'll grab the kitchen skill, but I have a feeling I should go a very, very quick visit to the toilet. So I may just take a 2-minute break to combine the two. So visit the toilet and then bring the scale with me back here. We worked like crazy yesterday and it got it mostly cleaned up. Just stuff out everything drying right now. Yeah, oh my goodness. Did you like have a rain flood or something like that? Like did it pour down or what happened? It's not like you had storm floods in the sense of from the ocean, I guess, because you're not next to the ocean. I believe you're north of Michigan, if I remember correct. Of course, there's Lake Michigan, but oh goodness. So it's raining and your sump pump quit working. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, that can cause an issue. A very inconvenient issue. I'm sorry. I hope it all will dry up quickly though. And that in the new house you won't have these problems once you have that one built. We don't really have a basement as such, but we do have a room or space below the floor. But it's not a place where you would keep things actively. It's just more like an air space. Like, I think they use the air as insulation to the ground. So it's like an emptiness. It's maybe like a meter high. You definitely don't want to store stuff there. Susan says sorry to hear of Oddball's issues. And Oddball says it will dry quickly and the new house won't have a basement. Yeah, well then the issue is kinda at least negated once there's no basement. Yeah, it's like a crawl space what we have, but I wouldn't still keep anything there because it's only, yeah, it's even the crawl space is very like dirty and not made with the intention to store things. What we do have there is, for example, we have the electricity box where the cables go for like internet, and what you would see is we have some cables going from the internet router to, for example, the TV, which is across the building compared to, and the cables were just drawn underneath in the crawl space instead of having to drill holes through the walls. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Round complete, almost. Just need to treble crochet in this last stitch. And then this round is complete. Awesome. I do see that I forgot to insert my heads up starting marker here, which is probably gonna be okay. Like that. So that was a round. I need to pick up my weight scale and I just need to quickly, very quickly use the toilet. So I'm just gonna shortly put you guys on the be right back screen and then I'll be here within 2 minutes.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be.
And I am back, ladies. I am back. That was a relief. And I have the weight scale. I'm just gonna put over my project here to grab the weight scale. Ooh, we will need a bit of space, I see. So, because it is on the edge. No more on the edge. We just need to reset it. Yeah, we are at 0. So theoretically, I'm expecting us to be at 29, 30 grams. 31. Yep, we can definitely complete those 2 rounds. So it's just me keeping track. But as I said, once those 2 rounds are complete, I think we are done for it. But 2 rounds should definitely be doable. We've lived in this house for 16 years and never had water in the sump pit like this, and we had a lot more rain than this. It's because the ground is still a bit frozen. Yeah, that could be it. Oddballs is asking Susan what melons she ordered, and Susan let's see, got some alpaca and some others. There, the alpaca ones is the wheel of alpaca types. So they're like basically like Yarnart's alpaca flowers or Hobby's wheel of alpaca, I believe. Home ownership is always adventurous. Yes, it is. I have some Pima cotton cakes coming from Little Knits, just mystery colors. That sounds nice, Oddballs. Yes, Susan, I am in the home stretch. I am. I believe 2 more rows. The thing is, I'm afraid I won't reach to make both rows of these rows before the end of the stream. Simply because I'm not that quick of a crocheter, but it will be close. Maybe we'll miss like half a row. But the thing is, if I run out of time, I run out of time. And that is just something I will have to accept, because I will not get popular if dinner isn't ready on time. We are having leftovers, but I still need to clear up this table space and everything before then. But yeah, we will try. So I need to probably, because we're working that direction, turn the shawl that way. That might be easier for me. Let's see. Adults ask if I'm liking my new job. I like the flexibility it gives me. They are really nice. They do have some expectations, and more are coming. In the beginning, I don't have the feeling that I can completely meet them, but I think I will be able to over time. A really good example, this morning I woke up too early and I started like I decided too early. It was half an hour, but still. So I decided to head to shower and stuff, turning around and sleeping. And then I started working early, because I was able to do so. And that was actually quite nice. My old job, I wouldn't have been able to do that. That was really set times for everything. And that, of course, is because my old job was helping customers, and the customers need to know when they're able to call you. But I was really happy just this morning. I could start. I think I started almost 45 minutes early, and based on that, I could also stop 25 minutes earlier if I wanted to. So I think that was really positive. So yeah, I'm still getting used to it. And I still know like only 10% of what I'm supposed to know. So my head is spinning, I tell you. I think it will all help. And it will all get easier over time. That is my feeling. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Da, 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 da. So yeah, the filter today for the view is just basically the one inbuilt in the camera. I had totally forgotten I could adjust that. This is the darkest setting. It will only go brighter and brighter if I option to change it. Manitoba, just barely north of North Dakota, about 8 miles north of the US-Canada border. So just Canada. But at least you don't have the crazy yellowed hair guy. You only have the issues he causes. I really think none of us likes him. But yeah, so I think we can definitely say this shawl will be finished today. The only question is if it's going to be finished during this live. Oh, I can relate. Appa says no, but our current guy isn't any better. Yeah, so I don't know what to say about the Dutch either, to be honest. We had a great guy for many years, and they wanted to do a specific politics, and a lot of people complained about that. And he said, "Okay, if that's how you want it, I'm off." And at the same time, he had gotten a new job offer, so he's currently the president of NATO, I believe. So he's also a lot in the communications of Ukraine war, Russia part, because that bit is a mess too. A sad mess. Two, 4, 8. Okay, so Canada has federal elections next week. So you're electing for prime minister or just cabinet, or it took the Netherlands like half a year to set their last government because they couldn't agree about anything. Prime minister, yeah. In the case of the Dutch, they voted for another yellow, angry-haired man. And he is quite the type. He's very much against all sorts of immigration and very, very extremely radical, I would say. Nobody really likes him, but people like the way he says things because he's talking from a very, very extremely nationalistic point of perspective. He's just forgetting what happens if you yourself in a day come in a situation where you need help and you can't get it because all other countries are equally as nationalistic as he is. That's just not going to work. We all need to be able to help one another, and if we can't do that, we won't be living in a peaceful world. At least that is my perception of things. But I may also very well just be wrong because I am a regular human being like everyone else. On a positive note, I started moving into my new yarn room yesterday before the flood. Oh, that's awesome! It was also getting bigger, wasn't it? Like you had more storing room for your yarns. I am jealous. Should make my guest room to my yarn room, but I have too much other stuff there I would need to take care of, which is things that I'm not really willing to throw out or give a new space just yet. Ideally, I want to maybe replace the bed, and then I can get like storage containers under the bed in my guest room. That would be really nice. Then I can store the bed sheets, but I can also store yarns. And I also found some bed linens in my closet, which has been there since I moved here. And I moved here in 2009. And I swear to you, those bed sheets has never been on any duvets. So maybe it's time for me to say, they probably just need to be thrown out. Well, not thrown out, donated to charity. But in the end, they need to be cleared out of the home here because I haven't used them, so why are they still taking up space? And I actually need this space for something else, so it is maybe time for me to have a good look at things. Sarah says, yay, I'm the moving in. And Adwal says, the current room is a glorified closet. The new room is 16 by 18 feet. Well, my current yarn room is split on, if we count the living room, 4 different rooms. But the living room is only my ongoing projects. So that's not really storing space as such. And in those 3 rooms, oh, sorry, it's in boxes, containers. I need to do that better. But I do have a dream. I guess that matters. Just like we have a dream of using the yarns and sorting our yarns, but you know, hoarding yarns and buying yarns are completely different hobbies than using yarns and crocheting. Like, very different hobbies, one would say. My daughter's coming over later today to help me organize and set up. I won't have all the furniture yet, but I'll send you a video or pictures after we're done. Oh, that would be nice. I'd love to see that. I'm jealous. In a good way. You're allowed to be jealous if it's a positive meant jealousness. I don't think it's malicious then. I just wish more people were able to have a yarn rooms. Ideally, I had an extra room that was a bit bigger that was used for nothing, but I don't. I wonder sometimes if I should jump into the next crazy thing and maybe, hold on, knit like a bigger item than just hats, like sweater or something. That could be kind of cool. But at the same time, I'm holding a bit back on the sweater department because I want to lose a bit of weight, which is like an eternity project. And on that note, so I am heading to my physio tomorrow, and he's been like inclining me to start at the local fitness center, which I have held back on. In the beginning, I just simply didn't have the time because I was working so much. Now, I could theoretically squeeze it in 2 to 3 times a week because I'm working a lot less, and I can actually afford it again because I do have an income. So I am probably going to look into options there because I know it will be better for me to get some moving done. Right. So I am probably going to look into that. I think it would be good for me. Especially because it would help build up some muscles again and so on, which I've not done for years. It's all been so discounted, and once I didn't need to discount it, I didn't just have the time or energy to do anything about it. So I do want to see what they have of options. If you want to knit a sweater, check out Ashley Lilly's. She has amazing beginner videos. Oh my goodness. I assume she's on YouTube with you saying it like this. Ashley Lilies. Ashley Lilies. Knitting. Found. Found it. I subbed to her now. And then I can always have a look if I decide to go that direction. Awesome. Thank you very much for that suggestion. I'm not really gotten into the decision phase yet, but I do have a few things which I think would make yarns better for something knit than for something crochet. I have some absolutely gorgeous soft yarns from Katia that I got in a random yarn haul, so to say. And that I really think would be so much better if knit. Ashley's Westers Crochet and Knitting channel. Hello, 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 and welcome to this live. Wonderful to see you. Come and hang out with us. Grab a cup of something to drink. Grab your projects and get crafty. That is what the rest of us are doing. Listening, hanging out, being crafty. Talking yarn. So yeah, I have a few yarns that would definitely be better, probably for something worked up knit than crocheted. I just haven't decided yet, and I can imagine Katja also have a few patterns on their site. And guess what? And it shouldn't come as a surprise, actually. Those of you who know me know that my knitting tension, my crochet tension is on the tighter side of things. So I usually tend to hook up, if anything, to meat gauge. And you know what? The same goes for my knitting. Every time I cast on, it's tight. And that can only be done if your tension is tight. Yeah. So I have a higher tension than the average, I guess. So I subconsciously have a fear of spending a lot of time on something I can't fit. 2, 4, 6, 8. But the benefit, of course, is that, and that is with everything, right? We can try on the go. I like that. And I do have some patterns for some crochet sweaters. Like I desperately want to crochet some sweaters. Which I think would be absolutely gorgeous. Sweaters and tops, 2, 4. There we go in. It's the last tip, and we go back to this quickly paste part. And as I said, I do believe we should have just enough yarn to, and maybe a bit more, to finish these 2 rows, including the one that I'm currently working on. But yeah, I'd also like the ability to maybe knit some bit more complex hats than what I have been doing. Though that said, the coming projects I've planned is still straightforward ones, just to get comfortable with it, if that makes sense, right? Just for the sheer comfortness. Apples is working on the second doodah blanket from Hooked on Sunshine, this one with a Stanley Panna Cotta. I have Stanley Panna Cotta in my stash. Now I feel like finding some Stanley yarns to work with. I should actually. Maybe. I need to decide on yarns for my next project. I will probably, when I'm in Denmark, have a poll for what pattern to work on. And then, if I'm not wrong, just let me find my scheduling for a second. Then, when I'm back from Denmark, that Monday I will be live. So I'll probably post a poll on Monday. And then the following Monday, we know the results of that poll and we can pick yarns together for the project. That's a good idea. And maybe we can even start the project on that live. That's not a bad idea. I think I'll do that. So I have a few days to have a look at patterns. And then I'll throw a poll up, like 3 different shawl patterns. You can vote. And then I'll have a look at what possible yarns we could use for Monday's live. That said, my new job is a little bit more busy on the Mondays. So that means that I will try to go live at 8. But if there's a lot of work compared to what I expected, then there is a small risk that I will be minor delayed. But we'll try my best. Apple says, order those Pima cotton cakes because they needed some. I needed some therapy because my surgery got cancelled. What? What are you telling me, lady? Your surgery got cancelled. When did that happen? I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it's just cancelled in the sense it's postponed, and not because that they don't want to do it. I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm all sad now. And here I was just getting happy to figure out a new project. It got cancelled on Thursday. I got cancelled because someone else has more urgent problem. Okay, that's understandable. But it sucks. And then I hope you get rescheduled quickly. Yeah. So it's more like it's postponed, just no date yet. Guts. That's something, I guess. Yeah, it's definitely too optimistic to finish it during this setting. Unless it was that my partner wouldn't get home from work. Like, if he would still be at work for some longer time, it would definitely be much more realistic. Um, but that is not the case today. No, 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 no. Wrong space, wrong space. So, so. Um, but that's okay. I'll finish it tonight. I'm expecting to probably be like having half a shawl left when we are there, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. But as I said, we'll trying our best to do as much as possible here. Tell him to go out for a beer with the boys after work. I could do that, except he doesn't even drink beer, so no, it's not gonna happen. Um, he also has an appointment, like he's going to work tonight, but from home, so he wants dinner on time. Which causes me to maybe consider working tonight on a few things, which would give me less work tomorrow and Friday. So I'm definitely inclined to do that. Da, 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 da. Can't believe next week it's podiversary time as well. That's crazy, huh? It's been 3 years. Next week, Monday. No, not next week, Monday. Next week, Wednesday. 3 years. But yeah, I'll definitely be checking out some stores, I think, in Amsterdam if I can get that coordinated. Um, I've seen at least like 3 possible stores that could be pretty cool to visit. 2. We increased last row, so we just need to make a regular stitch, which is 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Re-adding the stitch marker. So we are halfway through this row. Given the fact that I only have an hour and like 15-ish minutes left, we are very realistic, being like doing 1.5 rows. Something that's taken me 1 hour and 45 minutes and 1 hour and 50. No, that is very likely not happening today. Or rather, in this life. But guess what? It will be ready to show Friday. That I guarantee you. Yep. Crunching along. It's so simple. Every chain space. 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Skip to the next chain space. Until we reach to, I think, peaks, fanning peaks. Not sure what to call them actually. Chick, chick. Is there any other stories we can tell? I don't know. Is there any stories you would like to know? Feel free to ask. I'll happily spread some light. Tell stories. Did you have a good Easter? I spent my Easter on Saturday. We slept out, and then after we had slept out, we actually did a little bit in the garden. Not much, just like, I don't know, less than an hour's work. We were pretty wrecked afterwards. And then I also did some grocery shopping. No, I didn't do that Saturday. That was Monday. Sorry. Sunday, we went to my mom-in-law. Um, she had bought some new lamps she wanted to get set up in her new apartment, and my partner is reasonably knowledgeable in working with electricity and setting up lamps. So he did that for her. So she was, of course, happy. After setting up the lamps, we played a couple of rounds of Rummy Cup, which I thought was amazingly fun because I won both rounds. Haha. Um, which, of course, that's fun. When you win, it's always fun. I think I would have found it nice as well, even if I hadn't won, but it did add a little bit extra to it, winning. Then we had dinner, which was good, and we went home. And my partner watched Formula One. He's a Formula One fan. And then Monday, we got up and we had brunch. And then we cleaned the house and I did some groceries, just some basic groceries to make sure there's enough in the house for when I'm gone, so I didn't have to do much this week. Tomorrow I need to pick up like 2 things or something like that at the store, because I can do that on the way home from the physio. Then Saturday around lunch, I'll be flying to Denmark. So he'll drive me to the airport, my partner, and I'll be flying to Denmark to see my family. When I'm there, I will find out if I will be picked up at the airport or if I'll take the train. I'll be picked up at the train station. That would 100% depend on how my mom feels, because she is undergoing lots of transportation these days, so I wouldn't blame her if she says she would just rather stay at home and rest. Atbel says we had family gathering and Easter hunt at my in-laws. Oh, that sounds nice still. Easter hunt for eggs. We didn't do that, but we did have an Easter game with eggs for the youth at the club, where they did different types of games, and every time that they would win, they could win some Easter eggs. So that's kind of fun for the youth, so that's okay. I may consider contacting my old club in Denmark where I started back in the days at my parents' place. Last time I went there was absolutely fun. I had the opportunity to shoot my old rifle, which I learned shooting with back many years ago. And just come by and say hello would probably be a nice thing. I think. So yeah. I think I might write them and say if I could come by like Monday or Thursday evening when they are open. That could be nice. We hunted for baskets. My father-in-law hid like 30 of them around the yard. Oh, that's a lot. Do they have like a big garden or a big yard? I remember one of my friends when we were at her place for birthday, because she was usually often, if the Easter was late like this year, her birthday wouldn't be much later, and then we'd like be hunting Easter eggs as well when we were there for like a children's birthday. That was pretty cool. 5 acres. Oh, that's a decent amount of space, I would say. There's plenty of room to hide baskets around. That said, chocolate has gotten so expensive. Like, prices of Easter eggs has gone through the roof here in the Netherlands. I was genuinely shocked when I saw what they cost compared to what they cost a couple of years ago. They're like doubled in price almost. Usually before value pack €4. Now value pack 7.5 euros. I'm like, what? Mm. Abba says we have 2 acres now. The new property is 3.5. Yeah, okay. I almost guessed it would have been the new. Yeah, no worries. Well, that's still nice though. Lots of room around. I get jealous for all the fruits you can plant around the hedges and so on. And do get yourself a green runner Claude plum. Um, the ones I have in my garden. And remember that they are ripe even when they're green. You just need to know the time of the year that they ripe. I can still laugh of the fact that I didn't know that for so many years in the beginning. I'll also warmly recommend the L-Star apples if you are able to obtain specific apples for the fruit orchards. L-Star is really good because it's good both for apple pies but also just to eat. It's good for both. It's a little bit fresh in the taste, but it's not like sour. It's just nice, mild, solid apple. But comparatively, land is cheaper here than most places. Very valid, very valid. Here it's expensive, like really expensive. Unless we go to Friesland. Friesland is the very northern part of the Netherlands where you have half an hour to any decent city. But living in anything south of, let's say, Zwolle, prices really do go up higher. And here where I live, between Arnhem and Nijmegen, yeah, the value of our house is quite a bit more compared to, for example, the value of my parents' house. Like if we would sell our house here, we could buy a farm up north. Adbol says Friesland is where my ancestors are from. Ah, that's quite fun fact. Friesland, yeah, they speak Frisian, which is also very quite much a language on their own. Quite comparable to, so the whole eastern coast, not eastern coast, western coast. So if you take it from the north coast of the Netherlands and the west coast of Germany, so Schleswig-Holstein, that goes up to Jutland in Denmark, the dialect is quite comparative across those countries because of exactly those sailors back in the days. They had more communication with one another, so they have some of the same words go back between one another. Like the word moin. Moin is like the word for good morning, hello, good day, goodbye, general greeting. And they would use that both in Friesland and most northwestern parts of Germany, which is out towards the North Sea, and then the southern part of Denmark. So that is a fun fact for you. There's only very slightly variations to how they are pronouncing it and spelling it, but overall it means the same. That's a bit fun. Abba says her last name is Frisian. I am very Danish. My last name is very, very Danish. in all aspects of it. Two, 4, 6, 8, 9. Perfect. Next tip. 2, 4, 2, 4. I do realize I kind of, after we waited, pulled it a bit, so I'll just see if I can pull my camera a bit back here. That should be better, I think. We'll have to weigh the yarn again. But I'll be expecting about 20 grams, 21, 20, 21. So maybe I could maybe do one more row, but that would be an increased row. And I'm not really sure if that makes sense, given the pattern. And also I'm not willing to take the gamble because I will have to increase. So I'll have to have more than enough yarn left. And based on how it's currently progressing, I would say I would need at least 12 to 15 grams to ensure that I had enough yarn. The increase. And I don't think I will, unfortunately. I will be extremely close to, once this row is finished, to be into the pure white. Well, there is definitely no 2 rows only in that. Nightbot is chatty. I don't think we didn't even ask Nightbot for the weather yet, so we could do that. Weather. Just for the fun of it. Just for the funsies. You will see it's not too warm here. And it's grey. The weather for Nijmegen is cloudy with a temperature of 58 degrees Fahrenheit, equally 40 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from east-northeast at 6 miles per hour. The humidity is 71. It has been raining a fair bit Sunday and Monday. So we are quite happy we did the garden part Saturday before it started raining Saturday evening. So that is why our humidity is a little bit higher. The weather for Winkler are cloudy with a temperature of 35 degrees Fahrenheit, equaling 2 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from northwest at 16 miles per hour. Current humidity is 93. I would say it should still be raining based on the humidity, but it is cloudy, so maybe it just stopped raining, I don't know, or it's a drizzle. Night, but it's raining. Yeah, that's what I thought. Humidity of 93, how can it not rain? Let's be honest here. How can it not rain with that humidity? It's so close. You can see here, maybe, I don't know if it's close enough to actually view on camera. That's a white, pure white. That is pink white, and then the next bit there is white. It's difficult. It's difficult. But there is not an awful lot left before we head into. The real question is just if it happens before or after we finish this row. But it's gonna be a close call, I think, personally. You can see the white, yay! I wasn't sure because the camera is a little bit dark, but maybe if I do like this, it's easier to see. Yeah, there you go. We have zoomed. It is white. It's white is coming. And it's going to be so good being done with this. Hallelujah. One, two, one, two. And we have another side. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So we have two and we have two, and we go up here. Da, da, da. Appa says she's also almost at a color change. Awesome. What color are you changing between? I will go from 1/4 pink and 3/4 white to white. So mine is a little bit boring. A little bit boring, but it's not bad because it makes sense for the whole picture of it, so to say. But the reality is that we won't finish this shawl in this live. I just don't have enough time. You're changing from lilac into medium gray. Oh, that sounds nice too. The good thing about finishing this shawl is that I can prepare for a new shawl and find new colors to work with. I realized recently that I have lots of lots of pink and purple. Also with this sweet Martine poncho, it's just a bit too much. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Mm-mm-mm. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Don't know why my stomach tells me I'm hungry. I think it's early to be hungry, and I even had extra lunch. Guess it's just greedy. But yeah, so really want to talk to the so not the physio, but the physiotherapist is located also at where there's a training center, and they have this subscription where it says you pay weekly, and I wonder if you then like can put it on a week pause if you know you're away, because that would be absolutely perfect for my upcoming travels and so on. So I'm going to talk with them about that to see what options there are. Uh, uh, um. Alpa says, I'm having intrusive thoughts. Those Pima cakes are going to be 4 of one colorway and 2 sets of 3 more colorways. I may take 1 set of cakes and make a full-size red teapot blanket for myself. You are definitely allowed to be selfish with your yarn, making things only for yourself. Absolutely positive. We should all just be allowed to make things for ourselves and keep stuff for ourselves that we make. That's always my biggest fear when making things, where I'm like, oh, that would be nice to keep. Luckily, I do have a few things that I want to sell. And I also think the quality is good enough for selling. But there's always a risk you like something more than you expected it to be. Do, 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 do. 2424. Yep. It's a pack of 10 cakes split 433, if that makes more sense. Ah, yes, that definitely helps. Are they also from Hirschnuss or somewhere else? Like I have some Gazelle unicorn yarns, which is 100% superwash merino wool, which I'm thinking could make the most awesome hats. They're from Little Knits, okay. Look here, we are almost at round 2. Hallelujah. Almost at the end of round 2. By the looks, I think we will have a little bit of round 3 before the color change. It's Hiko concentric cotton cakes, 900 meter each. Oh, I'll have to give that a look. But let me just finish this row. It's not that far. And then we can look a bit yarn, which is also quite nice because I can feel that my head and my shoulders are saying they need a break from this. And given the fact that I can pretty securely say that we are not gonna finish it during this live, I think that's okay to take a small break. I just want to get to the end first. And weigh the yarn, of course. And weigh the yarns. And then we'll go have a look at some little knit yarns. That is, if they allow me to access the website, because I'm not in the States or Canada. Like Hobby Lobby, for example, blocked me out, so I can't see anything on Hobby Lobby's website. And personally, I'll be like, it would be awesome if we didn't have those crazy import taxes and shipment costs from the US to here, because I would have been buying stuff more than I have. We have 1.5 tip left. Definitely getting closer. Nose is icky. It's itchy. Don't know why. It's not even pollen right now. But we are on the last tip here of those increasing parts on the top. And I can tell you, there's only like this left of the pink. So we won't have a color change before row 3, but it will happen very shortly after we start on it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. It will definitely be happening quite shortly hereafter. And I'm so looking forward to being able to say this one is finished. Been working on it for quite a bit also, so it's time to say it's done. Two, 4, 6, 8, 9. That was it for this row. I just need a treble crochet. If all my math is good, we have 1 row left. But what we will do is I will just move a little bit out here so we have room for the weight scale. And last time, before I started this row, we had 31 grams. The row before we had 41 and the row before 52. So I am guessing 2021 at least, if it keeps its average. 21. That was a good guess. So 1 row to go. And the problem is, once that row is done, I'm not 100% sure I can make, because the row after this next row, I'll have to increase. And it's an increase of more than just a couple of stitches, because each of these tips will have 2 extra stitches in them. So I will be increasing by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 to 4, 24, 48 stitches. That's quite a bit on that little yarn. So there is only 1 row left in this yarn. That's a fact. But we were talking about Little Knits yarn, so let's see if I can actually access Little Knits. By the looks I can. So what we can do is we can find my shopping view here. There you go. Now I see this and I'm like, I want this yarn. I love some of that. It's gorgeous. Oh, Noro yarns. That's just a shame. It's all the way across the ocean for me. Would I... Hiko, I think you said they were, right? Yeah, Hiko concentric. Concentric cotton. That will be this one. Oh, they have a sale. Nice. 60 to 70% off. Heavy fingering sport weight yarn made of super soft Pima cotton. And it's perfect for drapey shawls, garments, and more. Jam-packed with over 900 meters per ball. Most projects can be done with just 1 or 2 cakes. Awesome. Oh, that is gorgeous. So you have this likely, like full back sale, 5 200-gram cakes. So basically, 1 200-gram cake is $14.40, and then you save because you buy a 5-pack, something like that. I'd say. I'm just gonna do the math. 1440 multiplied by 5 is 72. So you save like $9 by buying a 5-pack. Oh, there's a 10 cake mystery as well. I really like this, by the way. This coloring, this purple to white, is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Oh, 10 skeins. Yeah. That's definitely a better discount. I don't blame you. Mystery bag, 10 skeins, 433. Color split, 70% off. Oh, that's gorgeous too. This like peachy pink. Oh my goodness. That's browns. I thought it were blacks from that before we got in, but they are actually browns. They're okay, but this is nice. These 2 bottom ones are my faves. Oh my goodness. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I want this too. I want this too. Let's just for the fun of it say add to cart. Will they ship to the Netherlands? Just for the fun. At shipping insurance? Nah, that's usually not my thing. Check out, just for the fun of it. Do they have... I'll probably need to add some more. Enter shipping address before. I'm not going to enter my shipping address while being there. So what I can do is just shortly change screen and then test with my address just to see the shipping fee I would have for funsies of it. Shipping fee. You're sitting well. My God gracious. I can zoom up here, then you won't see it. So I'll pop back over. $66.61 is the shipping fee to send this pack to me in the Netherlands. Um, yeah. And then when it arrives here, it will go through customs. So first they will bung me like 20 some odd euros to just declare customs for me. And they will add 25% upon the value, no, 21% on top of the value there. So that's probably like an extra fee of, let's say, 40-ish euros on top of this that I will pay to import it. So that is what it will cost Little Knits to ship me on, $66.61. And I knew it could be expensive because, you know, I do import other things from the US for another business of mine. And their shipping fee last time they shipped me something were like $450. Crikey, that's expensive. Which is super sad because I'd love it, but it's not happening, unfortunately. I wish, but it's not happening. Yeah, nope. Damn. $66. It's just expensive to live in the Netherlands when you want stuff from America. That's a fact. $66. I'm just so surprised. And I knew it was gonna be expensive, but I thought I had hoped it might just be like 35 maybe, and I would have probably accepted that, but $66? That's insane. Oh my goodness. They are really gorgeous. But says her favorite is the purple and the pink teal. Susan says nice, but I get overwhelmed with 2 mystery cakes. I don't know what I'd feel about getting 10 at once. Yeah. Yeah, shipping to Europe is highway robbery. I fully agree. Yep, yep. I have just officially been robbed in broad daylight. If that is I paid for for that order. Damn. So a good estimate is that before that order gets to my home, I'd probably have paid like $200 for the same. That said, if the Pima cotton is really worth it, like if it's really so luxurious, I might actually even consider it, to be honest. But yeah, but on the other hand, I'm much better off for the Stanley shipping compared to you guys. When I buy at Stanley, if I shop for 155 or euros, I believe it is, I get free shipping. So hallelujah. So the few times I've shopped from Stanley, I've always ensured to make that threshold because I refuse paying for shipping if I can get it for free. Right? That is just a fact. Why would I pay for it if I don't have to? There's also lots of very gorgeous handmade yarn winders here in Europe. Like they hand wind the cakes. And they have some lovely cakes that I'd love to have at some stage too. But I have so many other cakes in my stash that I should use up first. So let's start there. 2, 4, 6, 7. Right now we're just gonna crank on for this one. For all that, just visit the States and get it while you're here. Well, almost, definitely almost. I think so. We do have ideas that to go to the States at some stage on vacation. Me and my partner, that is. Um, and I'll definitely make sure that I still have my frequent traveler card by then because I can bring an extra suitcase with me for free. The only requirement for them would just be to have to fly in Delta, but that's detail, right? I'm sure I could get around that. Looked up reviews. They say it's dreamy soft. Oh my goodness, now I am jealous. I do think, though, that said, that this is okay soft cotton too. Stanley cotton is also very soft. Valid. Stanley cottons are also quite soft. And I have to say, the Linda Hobby 88 cottons, which is more like a thicker DK weight cotton, they're also pretty okay. I like them. I can imagine making a summer top of something like that in those yarns. So that's definitely not too far away from my thoughts. You got a 15 off code for Platter. Yeah, I got some discount codes too. Right now I have a discount code on 10 euros of Hobby in my inbox. And I have 5 more days before it expires. And I'm like, I want to, and yet I don't want to. I shouldn't, if that makes sense. And that is genuine. I really shouldn't because I need to decrease my stash. So I do have some rules for purchasing yarns. And I have no valid reason except for it's a discount. And knowing Hobby, they will send me a new code at some stage when they still say, "Oh, we are missing you," and they send you a new voucher. It's just basically when you haven't shopped with them for like somewhere between 3 to 4 months, they will send you a voucher saying here's 10% discount. Yeah, I have a 10% voucher for Pleta laying around, which is also, I think, not time limited. So I do have a few ideas, and if those work out, I might have to make a Stanley order or Pleta order. But that is probably first going to be at the earliest this autumn. 2, 4, 6, 7. Also, Saturday is my local yarn shop day, so I'll have to stop into my list. Oh my goodness! That sounds nice. So that's what I like, I wanted to visit a couple of stores in Amsterdam at some stage because if they really, from a work point of perspective, want me to come by the office, um, I will need to try to combine that. So I have like, let's say 2 hours extra to see if I can find a local yarn store and visit that before going home. I'll imagine that to be a great idea, actually. Probably not for my wallet, but just for the fun of it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So for the funsies of it all. And that would be like, so like the yarn stores I brought with you earlier this week, they're like value stores. And I would like see if I can find some, and I know there are some like real yarn stores to visit. I believe that Stephen West, or whatever he's called, the knitting designer, has one. Sarah says, my man said he would soon treat me with some fancy hand-spun, hand-dyed gorgeousness. Oh, sweet. I want some hand-dyed gorgeousness. I actually have some upstairs. I do have some upstairs. Gazelle yarns. Well, not hand-spun, but hand-dyed. Part of me would love to dye my own yarn, but I definitely do not have the room for that. At least I don't think I do. Sarah says she would love to go to the Fiber Festival that's about 40 minutes away whenever they have their events. I do not blame you. 2, 4, 6. So we have like lamb yarns, sometimes have warehouse sale here in the Netherlands. But so far it's always been on weekends where I either had no car or no ability to go, which is like sad. It's an hour drive from here. And it's like it could be cool to go because it could be fun to see. Abba suggests me to look into what expense as a small business expense for trips to yarn stores. Yeah, definitely. So a thing is, you can't expense more than you actually get, like you actually earn. So I can't do it negatively. Well, the turnover would then be negative, which then long term will make you pay less tax. But eventually you will have to make a turnover, or they will see it as a hobby and not as a business. And then you'll have a different problem. So that is not an option, so to say, long term. But the issue is, I guess I need to make sure that I make enough from it before I can do it. Obviously, if I would be going to Amsterdam, my employer would pay for my trip to Amsterdam because I would go there on a work day and I would go there to work. And he pays my back and forth travel, which is a fair bit actually. I don't know what a day return ticket is. Give me a moment. I would have to check that out too. Yeah, that's good. Where do I want to go to? I want to go to Amsterdam Central. And probably not today, but let's say next Tuesday, just for the fun of it. I'm not there next Tuesday, and I can depart at about 8ish. And it's thinking. because if my employer pays, I don't need to worry about subtracting that part. A ticket to go to work would be, holy crickets. I don't know why I get a toeslag. It's because there's an IC. It's an international, so I need to pop up here. I don't want that one. So my ticket would be 22 euros 40 each way. So like 45 euros to go to work. I would travel by train, yes. It's an hour and a half or so ish by train. And yeah, I would have to travel by train. Because getting parking in Amsterdam is absolutely ridiculous. 1 hour 21 minutes travel time I would have, and I would need to change train twice, and that would be back and forth, and that would be 45 euros for a return, because I'll be traveling during office hours, so to say, not during the, I'll travel to peak hour, so they charge more. Because yeah, well, when the trains are empty, they're okay giving cheaper tickets. It's the same when you're getting your flight tickets. The closer you get to the departure date, the more they want for it, because the more the flight is likely to be full. And given the fact that I know how much I currently make for videos here on YouTube, if you just assume, so like, it can't be an expense yet until my web shop is running, and the web shop would then need to financially also run, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, then, you know, the cents or pennies that I make on YouTube wouldn't really cover that for the basis of one video, unfortunately. Or, of course, it would need to go viral, then it would. And I don't feel that my editing skills are that amazing for it to go viral, but you'll never know. It's the same like I want to do the hobby in Denmark, right? Except the plans I had for visiting hobby the coming week is off board, because those plans got eliminated when the treatment of my mom was postponed a week. So maybe in June 1st. All depends, of course. I highly doubt that my mom is being like, yeah, let's go there. She's not that fit, unfortunately. So that I definitely wouldn't be. I would be understanding. Tax deductibles still need to be paid before you can deduct from income tax. That's my point. Another thing. It needs to be, you can't deduct it for something if you don't have the money, so to say, or if you haven't earned it. Yeah. That's a financial part that sucks. I'm definitely not doing this to make a big profit. It would be nice with a little, though. I shall also be honest on that count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, true. Tax laws are different everywhere. I believe I probably could to some extent. But again, I would need to make absolutely sure I'm not a void anywhere. So I'd like to have things up running first before looking deeper into that aspect. I have done my legwork on the YouTube side of things. So I've had to change my AdSense account for YouTube to contain the business part of it, because I used a private one before. That is still in process. will probably first be finished up sometime next month, which is fine. And then I hope to have time to wrap up more aspects for the web shop. There's a few things I need to write and do and check out. That's also related to selling on an international market or just selling on a national market, tax laws. Like, I can send the goods tax free as long as I can prove it left the EU. So, like, if I were to sell to a Canadian, for example, or an American, they wouldn't have value add taxes on top, or sales tax, if you would like that word instead. It's kind of the same thing. Where opposed to if I would sell to a person in the EU, I would have to collect and pay sales tax. So there's a few things. So I've been doing a lot of reading, foremost. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And then I need still to do a lot of writing and getting used to how things are run and stuff. There are definitely more coming on that. And what I actually wanted to do was being transparent. So I'd like to make business vlogs for it as well, being very transparent about costs and earnings and so on. Look here. Color change. Color change. Abba says you will have to pay tax when it gets through customs here. Yeah. And that's depending on country, right? Because again, depending on country, you can, I think in the US, you're allowed to order for like $800 before you pay import tax. Where in the Netherlands, they just see, oh, it is from a foreign store outside of the EU. Bam, you pay. And they ship those bills very straightforward. And you have to pay those before you can even get the parcel often. So that sucks. Which also have done that there's a complete new type of scamming or phishing here, where you basically have people sending text messages that, oh, but we see you have import taxes due, please pay, blah, blah, blah. I kid you not. So we are now into the full whites. And I wonder, like, I can see it, but it's not like extremely clear. Maybe. Like you can see where the color change is because of the thread, but it's pretty neutral change, I would say. Wouldn't you? Very neutral change. But it's there. Oddballs also just hit her color change. Yay for color changes! Woohoo! But we aren't even on the home stretch. We just started this round. So honestly, as we knew, we aren't gonna finish this round on this stream. But the project will be finished and shown off in Friday's live. No, not Friday's live. Friday's Yarn Talk video. Should be up Friday morning. And that will be Friday morning US time or Friday afternoon my time if everything goes according to plan. Or sometimes schedules do change a bit, but I'm trying to do it a little bit differently as to when I'm pushing out videos, and that is just a test as well. How to get more viewers, because in the end, views are a part of what helps fund some of this crazy stuff I do. So the only thing is, as I said, I won't reach to have this one blocked before Friday. I just simply don't have enough time in my schedule for that. But I will block it when I get home from Denmark. But I think a non-blocked version would still be nice looking. There's a non-blocked version a couple of rows back, actually, on the thumbnail of this live. It's the same photo that I used for Friday's yarn talk video, for those being curious. And of course, I did work a bit on it since, but not that drastic that a lot changed. It's gotten a bit brighter, of course. Oh, that was too early. I only have this plus one more peak left. And reality is, unfortunately, no matter how much I'd love to get this one finished, it's not happening today. Well, it is happening today, just not on this live, which I'm okay with. We are pretty close. It's the last round. So I guess that's something. I'll see if I can spread it a bit out when I'm done here for you guys to see. Yeah, you can't see the slight color change, but it's so very little. The only thing I might be inclined to is really to check. I think I should have a similar yarn in my stash to see if I could maybe squeeze out one more row if I combine those. I could be tempted to do so. But I can't. I'm not 100% sure if I believe it's both white and they should be good, but I'm not 100% sure if it's really the same white. The yarn type is the same, thickness is the same. It's a leftover end from a hobby Cotton Kings cake, Sultan Deluxe. But because I'm not 100% sure if the white's the same, I'm not doing it before I found it, and I didn't have time to find it before this live. 2, 4. So I'll give it a really good look, and if it's not the same, then if it is the same, I might weigh up the yarns when I'm done with this row to see if I could add one more row. But if it's not the same, I will say it's the end. And the idea of being able to add that from the stash would also be to decrease the stash further. I should have time to do that tonight. So Upper says I used ends from all those types of cakes all the time as long as the colors match. That's the thing. I'm not 100%. I know I have a small leftover of white, white-ish. Wasn't a green cake back in the day. So it could be that it's more like a teal white, but I will have to check. Because you can see here the color change happens here, but I'm not really sure if you can actually physically see it on this camera. What I am gonna do, so that is basically all of the nice increases we've done. Like we start increasing here, and we slowly increase as this shawl increases and expands. It's gorgeous. I love this. So what we do is we need to get up here. Now you can see the clear light difference between my webcam, who has no light changes, and my other webcam. Like the one up in the right corner is the one that's built into my PC, on my laptop. And the one, which is a big one right now, is my webcam, which I have the distance control to. And now it's like pretty dark. So what I will need to do is I will need to brighten this one up. We can go to default. Woohoo! There was light. And it's almost too bright again. Let's see. Here's the color change between this tip and between this tip and this tip. The color change is happening in this row. It's not like, if I look at it like this, I can see it. But if I look at it on distance, I can see it because I know where it is. Does that make sense? But yeah, I like it. I think it's good. I will have to check though if actually I could pop over to this one just to avoid confusion with all my faces. I will have to check if my white I have. Thank you to Judith. Welcome to this live. I will have to check if I have the extra, because it would be nice if that would be enough to add the extra row, just because I would use up a scrap. But I would have to check that. But if it's not the same color, I'm also fine with it ending in 3/4 of a row. Because we won't reach more today, well, on this live together, but it will be done for Friday. This is all the increases we did, and then we are on the straight row here all the way to the tip, and so this is how much reached on the third row, basically, which I still think is good work. I'm satisfied. Oh, no, you can't see it on the camera. If I have a black scrap, I could do a row of black on the edge. I don't have a scrap of the same yarn, unfortunately. I would only have the white if in case. So that's why I'm debating if I can extend it. I will have to check. But this is a solid white. There's like zero doubt of that. I'll have to check. But it's almost invisible, so I'll probably be fine also without in case. That is how much we have left. Just for funsies. 16 grams. But there's enough to finish it up. But there won't be enough to finish up. Finish up an extra row. I will need scraps for that, so I'll need to have to check and measure and weigh. But for now, that is pretty much the end for this time around, because it is 5 p.m. here, and that means that it's slowly getting time for me to prep for work. Not work, sorry, for dinner. I did work today. Sorry about that confusion. I did work today. I crocheted today. Much more information coming soon on a bunch of things. More importantly, I am looking forward to see you guys on Friday in my yarn talk video. Next week I'll be off, as in I'm in Denmark. I will work on a little bit of pre-work here from home, which means that I do intend to post a poll on Monday for my next project, shawl-wise. I want to launch and get that prepped if I have the time. I should have tomorrow if everything goes well, or maybe Friday. My podiversary video that goes out Wednesday afternoon my time, so that will be your morning. And then on Friday, normally I would have a yarn talk, but since I'm in Denmark, I won't have a yarn talk. I will try to see if it's possible to get my decrease my stash project done for Friday, and then I'll be back next week Monday. So on Monday, 5th of May, I will be live with you guys again, with a project where we can choose the yarn for whichever project we voted for in the poll that I will set up on Monday, is my thought. And I'll probably have another project to work on by then. Don't know which yet, but I am sure we will find that out. I'm going to say thank you so very much for hanging out with me. It was absolutely a pleasure to spend the afternoon with you. Oddballs, I do hope that you will have a new day for surgery soon. Judith, wonderful to see you, even if it was just for a few minutes. Susan, as always, also a pleasure to spend time with you. Sarah, Helle, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It just makes for a really good cozy afternoon, good cozy crafty afternoon. So yeah, take care and happy crafting. And I'll be live again in a week and a half. And until then, enjoy the few videos I hope to have prepared for you guys. Okay, bye.